Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here for you. It's just an update going into tomorrow's market, Tuesday. Hopefully you get this on time. I'll try to make it short and sweet. We're going to be watching for a couple of good earnings coming out tomorrow. We're getting closer to the Fed FOMC rate decision on Wednesday. So typically the day before the rate decision, we kind of have a drifting market, but I tend to see drift higher into the FOMC. Now, this FOMC meeting has been going to be, under the microscope once again. And we also have the jobs report at the end of the week on Friday, and we also have some big earnings on Thursday. We have Amazon. Let me see which ones. I'm thinking off my top of my head. I do believe we have Amazon, Apple, Meta's tomorrow, or Facebook is tomorrow. So we have Amazon, Google, and Apple, I believe, on Thursday. I'm sorry if I'm wrong on that, but those are the three big ones, that's pretty heavy. And tomorrow we have a lot of Dow components like Caterpillar and some other ones, which are, could affect the Dow. But like I said, typically the day before a big Fed announcement, the big Fed FOMC rate decision, and the press conf, we tend to see a market kind of drift and kind of hold off. There's no reason to get a really big market rally tomorrow ahead of this, so we're not looking for that. But we will have a choppy sideways market, which will be great for us for the futures traders. So we will concentrate on some futures trading today. We did focus on our low flow poppers, and we had a good HBS watch list that went out to members this week, which put out 4 quality names that should be picked up here. So I'll let you refer back to that if you're a member. If you're not a member, another thing I just want to point out is tomorrow is the last day of our beautiful lifetime sale, which entitles you to everything Day Trading Radio has to offer, including the Rockbot, the Tradeometer, Rockbot code, all the scripts, all the scanners that I have. I want to show you this scanner right here tonight. Well, this is my low float popper scanner. You can actually get this, and I can show you how to build it. I'm actually building a course, working on a course, and I'll be finishing it up tomorrow. Going out, talking about the 3-hour work day, or the 3-hour trading day. 3 to 4, sometimes I want to call it the 4-hour, because I think it's important to, not to confine yourself to a set time. But we do find that early in the morning there is these big opportunities. As you can see on this, there's some big movers. HSCS was the big one, 163% move up. GMVD was 83%. That was even higher earlier. And then as you go down the line, you'll see there was some pretty decent moves in these what we call low float poppers. So we're going to concentrate on those tomorrow. There was quite a few of them for Monday. There was quite a few. We happen to get into WISA. As you can see, this is the trade alert box. Just to kind of give you, here's the HBS. The IBM triggered our HBS, but I do like the SWK coming up, and I do believe earnings are coming up on that soon. So I'm going to probably wait until earnings after that. So IBM first thing out of the morning, but I did notice that the WISA was setting up. That recently had a 1-for-100 split. It went from like 10 cents to $10 basically, and it's been chopping around. So we got in it here as it was showing some good relative strength. It moved the float, and the float is how many shares available to trade. And when you have a low float, those stocks tend to move much bigger than the average stock, because there's not a lot of inventory out there. And once you gather up the inventory, you can move the stock easier. People pay up for it. It's just the way things are. So with a low float like WISA, WISA, once we saw that strength come into it, and we had some great people in the room point that out in our chat room, our trading room, I was able to get in. I just got in 100 shares because, I'm also doing the show, and I don't want to get myself over my head if I'm not paying attention to things. But this was right on mark. We got 1350, took off half of it, and then it got a little bit higher and took it off. It ended up closing, where did it even close out today? I think I took it off my screen. But I think we did a great job on that. And that was just, 100 shares. 100 shares. Made $200 and something, 20% on the whole trade, which was great. like I said, tomorrow going into tomorrow, we're gonna focus on futures a little bit more, the divergences. So if you're into trading futures, we actually had one. If you look back here, look at this right here. This low and this lower low, this low and this higher low. This was a beautiful divergence on the 1 minute time frame right here. I just pointed it out to you. I just noticed. I just actually got back into my home office, and I'm just looking at the markets doing this video, and I just noticed that. Now, if you bring up the tradeometer, the Rockbot actually, let's bring up the Rockbot. Rockbot. You click on the Rockbot as a lifetime member, you get the Rockbot, which is a bot trader, and you can see this was also a 5 minute divergence here. You can see this low and this lower low, and it was also a 5 minute divergence. So it was a combination 5 minute, 1 minute divergence, and it moved up nice off of that. Now it's been chopping around. We just had a little recent pop, and it just gave us another divergence here. So we'll see if this divergence holds. But you can always refer to that on the bot channel. I'll minimize that. You keep that run. That's actually on the site. So once you click on it, you'll see it just like you did right here. The tradeometer. Let's see what the tradeometer. Yeah, look at that. Oh my God. Look at the signal here. This was a beautiful buy signal right here. Beautiful sell signals up here. Beautiful buy signal right here. Now I have it on cluster buys. We could change that. Again, you have the opportunity to change this to a like cluster buying, which I like this sometimes when you have clusters of buy signals. It's usually good. Or you could just take that check mark off, and it'll just give you more an exact one entry where you should be getting in. So this is act really well too. So that actually pointed the tradeometer actually pointed this out along with a Rockbot. We call that, when both of those line up together and give you a signal, we call that a super signal. All right, so you can see, I just opened the chat room just to give you, it's late at night now. There's not many people in the chat room. There's about 70 here, 70 traders. We probably won't be that active. But during the day, we have a few hundred in there, and it gets very active, and we have a good team that are trading, calling out trades and stuff. So even if you're a beginner trader, it's actually a great place to hang out if you have the time to hang out there. If you don't have the time to hang out there, I would advise checking out the HPS watch list and the watch list video. This gives you the update for the week and what we're looking to trade. As you can see here, this week's watch list has something for everything. Everyone, I go over my best bets and kind of go over some reviews, some other things. That's all right here. And then if you go over to the HPS index here, we'll actually go to the home. You'll notice that we have our setups here that are in watching phase right here, and we're waiting for these to move. Now the SWK, I'll click on that right now, and that'll give you an exact an exact order entry on this. So we're looking for a break of 87.30 to take your long, looking at a profit zone and a stop here. Now this is automatically tracked for you, so when these prices are hit real time, when these prices hit real time, you get an instantaneous alert through either a text message or email, however you want it set up. You get set up with your account. I just want to go fast and just take a look at the after hours and take a look at these stocks, what we call the low flow flyers, the low flow poppers. I just want to show you the when you get in here, and again, I set the pre-market time frame. I made it a little darker gray so you can see the pre-market, you see the post-market. The pre-market is the time we're really concerned about. And if you're not able to trade pre-market, get with a right broker that you're able to do that. Not everyone enables you to trade pre-market. Most people think, 9:30 market opens, but at that point, a lot of these stocks, especially like something like this, not that I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning, but if we get in at about 7:30, we start to see these things move. I identify them to you. From that point on right here, if you were in and this moved up 100% in less than 2 hours. So this is what I talk about, the 3 to 4 hour workday. This is when really things really start to take off in the morning, and you get in at the 9:30 open. Typically, you'll start to see things really take off because a lot of traders not able to get or not trading pre-market, and they wait till the market opens up, and boom, it's off to the races. So I'm actually building that course right now. It talks about where you should be buying these, what are the indicators you need, what is the criteria, and what are some of the other things. So I'm just going to go down the line here. We'll just make a comment on each one. There's actually 17 that kind of were up today and fit the criteria. So let's see from the pre-market. And remember, a lot of these will move, but then they'll drift back down. So the key is to get your profit, to get in early and get out. Don't fall in love. These are typically 80% of them are not meant to be held overnight. But the ones that are, they're usually a little higher in price and they have some momentum behind them. And typically the price is a little bit higher, say above $2, $3, $4, $5. Those are the ones that really start to move pretty good. So let's just see what's out there. All right, so let's start here. Again, here's G Medical Innovations. Again, by the time I got up, this moved off to the 20. I kind of pointed it out at the 20, saying that's a good one to buy off the 20-period moving average. And you can see we usually get that bounce back up, and then it actually put in a big sell divergence here. See that stochastic rotation to the downside on that pop? And that kind of really went sideways most of the day. This one actually, Motorsports, MSGM here, Motorsport Games here, moved after hours. So we'll see what happens tomorrow on that. MSGM, after hour mover. I'll put a circle on this so we could, when we look at this tomorrow morning, I'll say, all right, I've pointed this out. If you get this, you might want to get in early and see what's moving this one. I'm not going to look it up right now. Big Bear, again, AI has been a key term used in this market recently, so a lot of AI stocks are moving. Big Spring here, kind of mentioned that. That kind of closed higher also. And again, first pullbacks to the 20-period moving after a little move, I like those. So I kind of try to point those out to you off the 20-period moving average. This was a pennant formation which actually broke down, but first of all, it was off to 20. Then it broke down and then came back up and then closed stronger. Here's one that popped and then just kind of drifted back. Here we looked at this one earlier, and it actually had a nice little run. It went up about 10, another 15% higher. It's not a big move. And then closed out at about the same spot. Here's an after hours mover, PBLA. Genius Brands was one of the stocks we talked about. The higher price stocks tend to get some follow through. This one's been moving last week. You can actually see this started at about 55 cents. 55 cents. And now it went to $6. It's incredible. Incredible, some of these. Sharps Technology, I looked at this one today. I was actually following this quite a bit off the 20-period moving average. I'm curious to see from the 20 to where it went. That was about another 10% move. Not enough. Another pennant there. Nothing going on there. The angel gets its wings. This was one of the big ones. HSCS. We came in this morning. That one I was punching myself for because that one really did take off. I was in front of that, and that was up 115%. 115%. Oh wow! And that was on 77 million shares. And good volume too is important too. The big movers usually have the big volume. Maybe it continues tomorrow. We'll have to see. All right, so that's kind of setting us up for tomorrow. Again, the daily S&P cash. Someone asked me today, what do I think about tomorrow? I said, well, let's take a look at our time frames. 5 minute, we had this little wedge pattern, but we never really broke out of it. And what was key about this is we had the market here at 2 o'clock at the lows. And when we had 2 o'clock at the lows, then we typically close at the lows. And that's exactly what happened. We closed at the lows. Now, this is actually setting up possibly as if we gap up tomorrow, this turns back up. We'll just see what happens here. I'm thinking that we could chop around sideways and have a little bias to the upside. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. A little bias to the upside, but a little chop also. I think it's going to be good for futures. Here's our big pattern that we're in right now. Now you might say, wow, there's a lot of lines here. But yeah, there is a really good trend line. One, two, two pivots there. We have 1, 2, 3 pivots on top. It's a really good. So down here is we have another trend line. We have a retracement trend line that goes all the way out to the beginning of time. So we're actually, if we come back down to that lower trend line and kind of have an X marks the spot. I don't know if we're going to get there because we're already oversold on the 60. And typically, when we get oversold on the 60, we get a move up. Oversold on the 60, big move up. Oversold on the 60, big move up. Oversold on the 60, move up. Oversold on the 60, move up. On a few occasions when there's news and we'll get some chop and get continued selling, that could happen. But right now, with the 60s on our side, and 60's been holding up pretty good. So tomorrow in the morning, if we go get a gap up and we get this turn back up, we could see momentum come in to the upside. The daily, well, you know, the jury's out. Do we hold the January lows? Wednesday, we might get our decision, or you might get our answer. You know, depending on how the Fed comes out and what their comments are. Because that could mean a lot here. Because this still could be the FOMO trade, the fear of missing out. If anything positive comes out of the Fed or any type of positive reinforcement that things are working out good and they don't expect things to be something good, this thing could actually take off. If it's like really, I mean, we know they're going to continue to do this. They say we're not going to stop early. We're not going to cut rates early. No way, we're not going to do that. So we're going to watch it, and we'll see if this lower trend line holds up. That's on the daily, on the hourly. You can see it on the daily too. It's just underneath us right here. That would be a great level to hold if we actually do move down and we have any type of pullback. So that's it. Tomorrow should be an interesting day. We'll be starting off early. I'll see you in the chat room at 7:30 at DayTradingRadio.com. If you want to try out the site for free, you could go to DTR.TV/free for a 10-day free trial, no credit card or anything. But I would act on the lifetime membership because it does expire tomorrow night. Have a good evening, and we'll see you in the markets.